Slavery is back.
Welcome to a place where private business profit from a captive labour force, yet pennies are spent on medical services to a population in which the Indigenous, the poor and the mentally ill are overrepresented. Where isolation, humiliation and degradation are facts of life. Welcome to prison.
It depends who's telling the story, I suppose. The prisoners would have one view, the people who work in the prison system would have another, and I think it's up to people to decide where the truth is.
Give government propaganda and the media spin doctors the flick. And check out Doin' Time for news, views and tunes on prison issues from Guantanamo Bay to Christmas Island to prisons and detention centres everywhere. Every Monday at 4 p.m. on your community radio 3CR.
We are still fired up and we're still talking about revolution.
Hello and welcome to the Doin' Time Show. This is 3CR Community Radio, 855 AM on the dial, streaming live on www.3cr.org.au. This is Marissa and Peter.
Hi, all.
And we'll be taking you through until 5 o'clock this evening. And today's show will be focusing on a very special broadcast in regards to refugees and asylum seekers. And there's been quite a lot happening lately, quite a lot of really atrocious stuff and violation of human rights.
Yeah, basically.
So I want to draw listeners to the attention to a media release that was written recently by the Refugee Action Collective. But before I do that, I'll just introduce who's being interviewed. First up, we're going to be speaking with Chris Breen from the Refugee Action Collective. And then after that, we'll be speaking with Sam Watson, who is a great warrior and Indigenous activist from Queensland. And listeners may recall that we have interviewed him before, and we will be speaking with Sam about some possible laws that may be coming through similar to Joe Bjelke-Petersen style, and they're laws that may stop assembly and protest in Queensland. And we wanted to speak with Sam about the historical perspective there. And then after that, we'll be speaking with Ali, who's locked up in detention. He was in Maita in Broadmeadows, and then he was transferred to Adelaide, and we're going to be speaking with him just about general issues, getting a bit of an update about him and his health, and looking at what's happening with asylum seekers. So just to quickly introduce the first topic and to draw attention to the media release written by the Refugee Action Collective. On the 29th of the 8th, 2019, Priya Nadis and their Australian-born girls, Gopika and Tharunkia, were dragged against their will by Border Force officials onto a Sky Trader plane as part of a forced deportation attempt. Priya was separated from her girls. There is now a legal injunction preventing Tharunkia from being deported before 4 p.m. Wednesday, said Chris Breen for the Refugee Action Collective. So it's absolute shame. They were actually deported. They're trying to deport them against their will. I will correct some of the pronunciation too. Yes, Peter?
Oh, they're in Christmas Island now.
They've been transferred to Christmas Island.
Yeah.
So without any further ado, let's get Chris on the line and he can tell us what's going on. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, Chris. So how are you going? So yesterday there was a rally, I believe, at the State Library. Can you talk to us about that and talk to us about what's happening with the Tamil family?
Yes, there was a rally at the State Library, over 1,000 people. It was called, a day's notice, so that was an excellent turnout and gives you an idea of the groundswell of support that there is for the family. What's going on? The family has been moved in a shameful and deliberate move to Christmas Island to keep them out of contact of the media and friends and legal support. There is a court case underway in Melbourne at the moment for the youngest child. Essentially, to see if to make the case that she is stateless and has the right to apply for Australian citizenship. There will be a separate case on Wednesday arguing that the minister should have what is called lifted the bar, allowed her to make an asylum application, which she hasn't been. hasn't been able to do. There's currently an injunction to stop the family being deported until Wednesday at 4 p.m. So the campaign is chasing up every possible angle it can to increase pressure on the government to allow the family to stay. This is a family who has faced real persecution. I mean, Priya came to Australia by boat in 2012. She fled after she witnessed her fiancé being burnt alive, along with 5 other people. Nader still had scars and shrapnel on his body from a government bomb. We know that returned Tamil asylum seekers are routinely arrested in Sri Lanka. Some are jailed. We know that there are, Australia's deported over 1,000 Tamils to Sri Lanka. And we know there are credible reports, for instance, to SBS News, that returned asylum seekers were raped and tortured on their return. So this is a family that faces a real fear of persecution. They're also a family who was much loved in the community where they lived and worked for many years. So, they weren't allowed to make asylum applications under the government's no advantage policy for many years. In the meantime, they built their lives. They met, they married, they had children. Priya was active in the community. Nada's worked in the meatworks in Billawheeler, and that community really rallied around them. The petition that they organised has now been signed by over 230,000 people. So we are calling on the government to intervene. Peter Dutton can intervene to save au pairs of well-connected people and people he used to work with. Then, right. This family has a serious case to stay. It's a real threat to send them back to Sri Lanka.
So, Chris, the family has been active in the community, and how long has that been? They got here 2012, 2000. They lived and worked in Billawheeler for 4 years. What?
So under the no advantage policy, I mean, it's the same policy which is, keeping people locked up in Manus and Nauru. People were supposed to wait, up to 5 years to be able to make asylum applications. But of course, they build their lives here and make connections in the meantime. And so the people in the town were, horrified when the family was just ripped out from them and taken and flown to detention in Melbourne.
Without any warning?
Without any warning. Late at night, dragged off. And the girls, the whole family spent over 1.5 years in detention. Their health has already been seriously damaged. Any further harm is on the hands of the Scott Morrison government. So there's court action underway, but the minister has the power to use his discretion to intervene to stop this deportation.
Of particular concern is that I was hearing Peter Dutton speak the other day, and he is saying that this family, Tamil family from Sri Lanka, are not refugees. That is so not true. He said it.
Yeah, it's well, in any humanitarian definition, it is clearly they have fled persecution and horrific circumstances on very, very narrow legal grounds. Courts have rejected their applications, but the whole visa processing system is political. When the Liberals came to office, they introduced a new fast-track system that doesn't even allow some people to make asylum applications. It used to be that 90 to 95% of boat arrivals were found to be refugees. That's now down to 30%, and it is explicitly political decision-making, stacking the courts with Liberal, appointees. So we're saying this family's case has not been seriously considered. To say that you witness your fiancé burnt alive in front of you.
It is absolutely appalling.
For that not to be, something that you'd be in terror of ever going back. And you could see from if anybody who watched the footage on the project and elsewhere of the family being deported, it was absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
Forced deportation is always a brutal process. There are people who've died in chokeholds in those forced deportations when they've resisted. It's, they should be allowed to stay.
Indeed, they should, and they need to be allowed to stay. And to quote, actually, the Home to Barlow campaign speaker, Richard Di, who's also the Greens leader, he said the other day in the news on ABC that it's cruel and barbaric. And just because they came by boat too, Chris, perhaps that's what Dutton is objecting to.
There's always been discrimination against people who've come by boat. It's been long built into Australian law, even though the Refugee Convention, which Australia signed, says that people should not be discriminated against depending on their mode of arrival, whether that's by plane or by boat. But you asked about the rally yesterday. I didn't really talk about that. That was great. We had speakers from Trades Hall, from the Tamil Refugee Council, friends of the family, some people on temporary protection visas who faced very similar issues. There's currently 30,000 refugees in the community who don't have permanency here. They've got temporary visas. They can't build lives. They can't have family reunion. And it's really of a piece what is being done to them, what is being done to this family, what is being done with indefinite detention on Manus and Nauru.
Absolutely, and we've only got a couple of minutes left, Chris, but thank you so much for mentioning the rally. Could you just correct my possible mistakes in the pronunciation of the names of the family members, please?
Okay, I hope I do that. It's Priya, Nardes, Kopika, and I have to admit the youngest girl's name I always pronounce as Veronica. But heard it recently, and I suspect my pronunciation was wrong as Tonica.
Thank you.
I haven't been in direct contact with the family.
That's okay.
And I will double check that.
I think it sounds
pronunciation because it matters.
Close. It does matter, but that's okay. Look,
and I'd also like to encourage people. There is going to be a rally outside the court case on Wednesday. So 9 o'clock outside the federal court in Melbourne.
9 o'clock outside the federal court in Melbourne. See if listeners can rock up to that rally outside the court. And on Wednesday morning. And also, just to reiterate that at the moment the family is at Christmas Island, and are they the only ones there?
Yes, Christmas
Seriously?
Island was reopened by Morrison in a $185 million election stunt. They are, since it was reopened, they are the first and only asylum seekers held there. It is cruel and bizarre and
horrible,
barbaric.
It is. It's really horrible. And what do you think will happen? What in your, well, not in your view, but how does it look?
Well,
how does it look?
What will happen? It's an open. It's an open question. On the one hand, the legal grounds are difficult to win. Because of the way that the laws have been changed in this country. On the other hand, the government is under immense pressure. So you've seen even people like Barnaby Joyce, Alan Jones, the MP that covers the national MP that covers Billa come out calling for the family to stay. Dutton's dug his heels in. Scott Morrison hasn't said a word to date. And so we are just trying to increase the pressure as much as we can. In a welcome shift, Labor leader Anthony Albanese has come out calling for the family to stay.
Indeed.
There's an active Comcare investigation into their treatment that they should be allowed to stay as witnesses for. So we're trying to build that pressure. We're asking people to take workplace selfies the next day or two and upload them to social media. You can send them to the Refugee Action Collective. The petition is on our site. Every little bit helps.
Chris, thank you so much for coming onto the program, and I'm sure we'll be having you back in. It's been a terrible week.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that was Chris Breen from the Refugee Action Collective speaking about the Tamil asylum seeker family who are being hopefully not deported back to their country, and at the moment they're rotting on Christmas Island. Let's hope that the courts are able to work that out.
Red alert. Numbers are needed at the Japwarung Heritage Protection Embassy camps immediately. Sacred birthing trees on Japwarung country need protecting. Over 50 generations have been born on these sites, and the birthing trees themselves are 800 years old. These trees are being protected from the Victorian Labor Party's planned highway extension that is set to destroy this sacred dreaming landscape. The cops are coming with eviction orders very soon. The campaign to protect country is led by Japwarung traditional owners who are calling on people from all walks of life for support. You can help by joining traditional owners at the camp on Japwarung country near Ararat, or by donating and putting pressure on Daniel Andrews to protect this sacred land. Visit dwembassy.com for more information and updates. No trees, no treaty.
6 years I've been in desert.
Beyond the Bars is 3CR's annual prison project, giving voice to our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander inmates right across Victoria.
It's good to be here because Aboriginal radio and you don't really get to do this much. Brings us all together.
You'll get your time to take that first step out that front door to freedom beyond these walls.
And I just want to say thank you to all of you for giving us the opportunity to speak on air.
The bigger the reason, the bigger the calling. Make your commitment and watch things unfold.
And you can listen to audio from this year's broadcasts and previous years as well. Online at any time, just go to 3cr.org.au/Beyond the Bars.
But also, while I'm here, I'd like to say thank you for coming, helping, giving us a chance to do this. It's really good, you know. It's been going for a while now. Hopefully it keeps going. You know, like it's good that we can do this and get our voice out there as prisoners.
We can't blame everything on the external, so let's stop looking for it in the hands of the persecutor, because real power comes from here and it comes from family.
If you would like us to post you a free CD, contact the station on 03 9419 8377.
And you're back with the Doing Time show. We're going to be speaking next with Sam Watson, and we will speak with him about possible laws that may actually affect the rights and liberties of activists and concerned citizens. Hello, Sam. Welcome to the program. I think we've just had a bit of technical difficulty. Hello, Sam.
Most LGBTIQ people experience positive, intimate and family relationships. However, like cisgendered heterosexual people, some LGBTIQ people experience abuse and violence in their relationships. With Respect is a new family violence service for LGBTIQ plus Victorians, providing counselling and recovery programs for victims and survivors of family violence and help for people using violence who want to stop. With Respect is a partnership between Queer Space, Thorn Harbour Health, Switchboard Victoria and Transgender Victoria. For more information, visit withrespect.org.au or call 1800 542 847. With Respect is not a crisis service. If you need immediate help, call 000.
A 3CR supporter.
And let's try again. Hello, Sam. Welcome to the program.
G'day, how you doing?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. Sam, it's great to have you on the program, and I was wondering if you could start off by just telling us, and I know I always ask you this question, but it's so important for listeners in case new ones have tuned in. Can you let us know what land you're from?
Yeah, I was born and raised in a place that's now called Brisbane, but this is country of a number of major tribal groups who speak the Jagera language. So our mob are Wanjawara people from down south towards the border. We got kinship tie and blood ties into the Jagera language group. So our country extends from place where the New South Wales-Queensland border is, right up through this area now, and towards the place called Sunshine Coast. That's on grandmother's side. And then grandfather's side, we belong to the central Queensland area, the Biddigubba Wirri country, where the Adani mob are trying to start their mine up and then I've also got family connection up to Cockatoo Mob, up around Mount Isa, Palm Island, and up in the Cape, the Wickmarpoon people. So got mob right through country, but like I said, born and raised and lived and worked all my life here in a place called Brisbane. Good mob, good community.
Absolutely. And Sam, we had a chat off air this morning and you agreed to come onto the show because we were both chatting about what's happening in Queensland and looking at, is it true that there are possible laws that, to try and stop protesting?
Yeah, well, the state Labor government's in loads of strife at the moment. They're under attack from various directions and various quarters, and they're grasping to every sort of political opportunity they can get. Over the last few months, there's been sustained activist activity right across the Brisbane area, particularly around the CBD, and naturally this has impacted on people driving to and from work and etc. So it's a contentious political issue, and the right-wing conservative elements are trying to force the government into a situation where they will penalise the radicals and the activists so that they can safely get down to their workplaces or get home. So they're trying to, like I said, stifle the rights of radicals and activists to have a political voice, and this takes us back to the days of Joe Bjelke-Petersen back in the 60s and 70s, because back in the mid-70s, Joe Bjelke-Petersen was an absolute lunatic, and he had a gerrymandered electoral system which saw him surviving every election after election on 25, 27% of the vote, yet with a massive majority of seats. So it was a bizarre system that finally in 1989 the country, the state had just had enough and voted Joe and his crew out, and then came a Labor government and they liberalised the laws. But like I said, it's now back on the political agenda where government is threatening to introduce laws by the end of the year, which will make it very difficult for people to organise street marches and have protests in the city that impact on other street and road users. I mean, we have been, I've been marching, my wife and I, when we were school kids, we used to, back in the 60s and 70s, we used to go into town and march against the Vietnam War. As kids, we used to march against the White Australia policy. We used to march in support of the ANC in the African struggle against the apartheid regime. So across a range of issues, students, Christians, ordinary workers, ordinary people in the street would use the opportunity to stage rallies, stage protests and march in order to send a message to governments of the day, but also to show our solidarity with the global activist community. So we don't have the funds and resources that the multinationals have in order to buy TV time or the big screens or buy pages in newspapers, this sort of thing. So if we want to take our protests, we take it to the streets, and we have every right to do that. So we will also, if the state government attempts to change the laws and bring back those Joe laws, which made it illegal for people to stage street marches, then if they attempt to do that, then there will be a whole new wave of political action.
Absolutely. And did people go to prison if they protested, Sam?
Yes. Well, back in the day, it was bizarre because we would, when the laws were in, Joe again would bring in, as he always did, he'd bring in busloads of country coppers who absolutely hated long-haired bloody students and activists and radicals, and they'd come in and he just turned them loose because under the Joe years, and Joe Delkey-Peterson ruled the state with an iron fist for almost 20 years, and he militarised. He changed the Queensland Police Service into a paramilitary force that specialised in absolute thuggery and brutality. So they were brutal, rough people, and they caused. I mean, they bashed and terrorised people. They particularly mishandled and inappropriately handled women demonstrators and just bashed people. I mean, previous Premier Peter Beattie got bashed so severely in the Springbok demonstration in July 1971 that he had to be rushed from the demonstrations to the hospital. So he spent some days in hospital recovering. So these coppers, because Joe gave them a clear message that he said they could do anything they wanted to, and they'd never ever have to face any sort of inquiry, any sort of charges. So it's, I mean, I wouldn't go. I don't think the situation's at that stage yet, and the police again in Queensland haven't given any indication yet as to what their attitudes are. But the Queensland Police Service is a very, very powerful subgroup within the Queensland community. We must remember that back in 2004, when a nephew of ours was murdered in the Palm Island Watch House, and it took sustained political action to finally have the police officer who was in charge of our nephew at the time that he was brutally assaulted to the point where he died in the watch house in November 2004. It took 3 years of high-level international and national political action to have that cop charged. But when he was charged, the Queensland Police Service organised statewide stop work meetings and marched on the Queensland Parliament in order to try to intimidate them to have the charges quashed. So the Queensland Police Service is a law unto themselves, and if they want to buy into this issue and attempt to support the Queensland government in order to try to close down street marches, then we will confront them as well. I mean, we're not all intimidated. We're not terrified. We are galvanised by our beliefs, and we are committed to the principles that we are standing for. So we have to take on the Queensland government, and we have to take on the Queensland Police Service and Soviet. Bring it on.
Look, absolutely, and indeed, interesting that you should talk about deaths in custody, because that really is connected to protest, because it goes hand in hand. And Sam, I'm sure you're aware of this, but in Victoria, Auntie Tanya Day has died tragically in police custody, and her inquest is actually happening now at the Coroner's Court in Melbourne. And there's been high-level protest happening with that too, to prove that there is systemic racism.
Well, Victoria is removing the so-called offence of public drunkenness from the statute book. Queensland is the last state in the Commonwealth of Australia that is holding public drunkenness over as a criminal offence. Now, this is a direct contradiction of the Royal Commission into Aboriginal Deaths in Custody that handed down 339 recommendations, and one of the most basic recommendations was that the offence of public drunkenness be struck from the book. So Victoria has responded and they removed that offence, but Queensland is the last state in Australia to hold that offence. So persons who are under the influence of alcohol or drugs have no place in a watch house. They should be taken to a place of safety, and they should be monitored and supported during that time. So we have a diversionary centre program in Queensland. I don't know if there are diversionary programs elsewhere, but there should be, because there are a large number of reasons why people take alcohol or take other substances in order to deaden the pain of trauma and pressure they're going through. So they don't need to be punished for that. What they do need to be is supported and monitored during that period of intoxication. And a watch house is not the place to do that.
Indeed, it's not. And it's good that we've talked about that because basically, and let me know what you think of this, Sam, but, when we're looking at getting rid of or possibly getting rid of protest laws, it all, the police and, it's all symbolic and it all goes back to colonisation, doesn't it? And historically, police were not not good with Aboriginal people at all, and they treated them abominably.
Well, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people didn't have alcohol or illegal substances until white fellas come out of the
for sure.
Eastern Oceans, So
for sure,
we had bush tucker and bush medicines, but they were there to assist us and make us healthier. So right across the colonial period, the invaders used alcohol and drugs in order to enslave and control Aboriginal people. Here in Queensland, you had that situation in the 1800s where certain businesses across the coastal fringe of Queensland, from Cairns down to Brisbane, actually withheld cash wages and paid Aboriginal workers in opium. So finally, after enormous pressure from churches and other welfare groups, in 1897, the government introduced a legislation called the Restriction of the Sale of Opium and the Protection of Aborigines Act in order to close down that trade in opium. So large numbers of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who worked honestly for European employers were not paid in cash money, but they paid in opium. So finally, 1897, that practice was made illegal, and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people were then moved across to the cash economy. But so there's been that history where the invader class has used alcohol and drugs in order to enslave and abuse and exploit Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people.
Absolutely, and that's very true. So I'm really glad that we were able to discuss some of that history, because history is really important, isn't it?
Well, there's that age-old saying: if you don't learn from the mistakes of history, you'll be doomed to repeat them, and that's what we're seeing here to move the debate, the conversation forward. If we don't learn from the mistakes of that almost 20 years of corrupt and rotten, brutal repression of the Bajalki-Peterson government from the 1960s through to 1989, then Queensland will be doomed to repeat them. And you have a government that has the appearance of being totally owned and controlled and manipulated by the multinationals. You have Adani pulling the strings of the puppet government, and that is just totally unacceptable. So you have up on the site of the proposed Adani mine, you have a sovereignty camp. So there are a large number of Aboriginal people and supporters up there as we speak, who are challenging and defying any attempt by the Adani mob to set up to launch their mining projects. So that is on, and that again is a peaceful, positive form of protest. So
absolutely.
Aboriginal people are not intimidated by this, and we'll continue to speak out, and we'll continue to rally, and we'll continue to protest.
Indeed, we will. Look, Sam, thank you so much for coming onto the program. Peter's going to be lining up presently Ali, who is an asylum seeker, who's a refugee, who is detained in detention, and we'll speak with him next. Are there any final comments you want to make? Yep.
Tell our comrades who are in detention that under Aboriginal law, they would not be held in those places under Aboriginal law. They were taken into our tribe, into our community, into our families, and their rights as human beings would be respected and they would be taken into our families, and they would be introduced to our cultures and to our dreaming, so that their children would then also learn the magic of country. Their children will be taught the songs and dance, the stories of this land one time.
You know, that's well said, Sam, and it's really important that's talked about. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
We'll tell him that.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you, mate.
Bye. And that was Sam Watson speaking about... Whoops. We had some technical difficulties there. That was Sam Watson, who is Indigenous warrior and activist from Queensland, speaking about the possible protest laws that could go into Queensland by the state government. I hope not. And let's keep an eye on that space. And also looking at some history, and in particular Indigenous history.
My father came here from the Philippines. It's where I live, it's where I want to be. Ooh, but you make me feel so ill at ease. I don't speak my father's native tongue. I was born under the southern sun. I don't know where I belong. I don't know where I belong. It's easy enough for you to say it ain't no thing, but I'm the one, you ain't the one. Been living in the skin. If you wanna call me something, call it to my face. But I will not apologize for taking up this space. Every time you cut me down, I'm gonna come back fierce. The time is through for being nice. Let's call it what it is. Native tongue. I was born under the southern sun. I don't know where I belong. I don't know where I belong. And you're back with the Doing Time show. In case
listeners have just tuned in, this is 3CR Community Radio, and you just heard a song by Mojo Juju, and it's called Native Song. Next up on the show, we're going to be speaking with Ali, who's detained in Adelaide Detention Centre, and he was transferred from Maita, and he was terribly affected by what happened with the Tamil asylum seekers.
Yeah.
Hello, Ali. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Marisa. How are you? How are you doing? Good?
Good, thanks. It's great to have you, Ali. And, you know, I just wanted to just say before you start that the Doing Time show, this is a very important part of our show because we like to have a safe environment where asylum seekers, Aboriginal people, people from minority groups can come and speak, people who don't have a voice. So over to you, Ali. Tell us what's going on.
Thank you. Well, the Tamil family is all they trying to do is seek an asylum seeker in Australia. Stay here. The two little kids, they were born here, so they're Australian. They shouldn't do that to them, and then making them go through all that traumatized situation when they drugging their mother at the front of them with a horribly violent situation and making them crying in the plane. Yeah. And as well, on top of that, is I was reading about it. One of the news reporters of The Guardian said already the government have been taking out of taxpayers' money $1.7 million for all the private jet planes, rent the planes to take them from Melbourne to Darwin and to Christmas Island and hotels and extra stuff. As everyone in you, they already took 20 people, 20 officers with them on that charter plane from Melbourne, and then they call in again and call another 14 officers to follow them to Darwin so they can give a break to the 20 officers, and they'll be not having a break. So that's 34 staff. Plus, they call in extra more Medicare and counselling and immigration and border force to be reopen all of Christmas Island. So nearly up to 75 staff being called in on only 4 people in the Christmas Island. And Christmas Island is horribly conditions to be living in as just a human being. That's why they shut it down, because it's just not really good conditions to live in. Not to be living as kids as well. This is horrible. Like, I've been in the Christmas Island. I've seen it. I didn't like it. I've been in the Christmas Island only 3 days, and I didn't like it. I felt really in a serious situation to come back to the mainland. Like, I was really willing to lose my life, then stay there. And I was. I'm just a man. I should be more strong than the kids. So,
you know, Ali,
what the kids going through.
Exactly. And Ali, I know you've been really traumatised by what's happened with the Tamil family.
Yeah, I was actually. I got a call from them when they were in the property in Melbourne.
Right.
And they were all crying, and then I will record the video straight away, and I put the video up on the page on Facebook and social media. I was actually crying. I ended up in the hospital.
You went to hospital?
I went to the hospital here in the same night. I stayed in the hospital until the next day. I had the anxiety attack from just being crying and not able to help them or doing anything to stop it. I'm not in Melbourne anymore to stop it. I'm not able to do anything in there. I'm just an Adelaide, pushed in the far corner, just so they can shut me off, move me to Adelaide, and just leave me in here.
You know what, Ali? I think you still can do. You are doing things. You're doing a lot of fantastic things for asylum seekers and refugees. You're doing you're doing videos and the Facebook, isn't it?
I do help a lot of people.
Yeah, you do.
As I've been called in now to another case in Sydney, I have to go to court in Sydney on Thursday. One of the detainees who he's mute, so he's disabled. He's what they call it deaf. can't talk and mute. He hanged himself 2 years ago, and he lost in the process. He got damaged his neck, and he can't talk anymore. And then one of the officers in there, he always bully him, and he keep bullying him and that. So he keep records him on videos. And then that officer went and put intervention order IVO against him. Now I have to go on Thursday to court with the person, the deaf person, and explain to them this person is just a human being and afraid from them for what they're doing. That's why he record always this video.
My God.
He's not responsible for it because I'm the one posting the video. So if someone should get punished, is me, not this person. This is really ridiculous to be doing that to people. Like, it's just so horrible. He's already been 6 years detained in Sydney, and then he's mute. He can't talk. He can't even defend himself. And as well, he did even ask for proper special tablet for mute people, so show the signs and that.
Yeah.
And then the signs, because he can't talk anymore to people, they got refused by Border Force to get into the centre.
But see, you know, Ali, there's so many countless examples that are happening, and I think the thing that is really concerning about your situation is that you're already on a visa in the community, and just because there was a minor traffic violation, you know, they put you in prison, and then after you served your time, what's the point of detaining you? Why didn't they just let you go down the path of being a visa? You're not a murderer, you're not a pedophile, and yet the French nannies are allowed in.
No, it's like...
It's ridiculous.
It's really bad. That's what they do. It's like, here now we got someone is on heart beeping machine, and with him 2 nurses looking after him. He's 87-year-old, a man, with a wheelchair. He's on a wheelchair.
Are you serious?
My God. And then he's happy. He's happy to go back. They want to deport him to England. He's happy to go back, but the doctors here said he's not fit to fly. So what's the point keeping him in here?
For heaven's sake.
I said, how long he's been here? They said, he's been here about 18 months. So you're leaving someone 18 months to look after him, 2 nurses a day, and these 2 nurses every 8 hours get replaced. So 6 nurses every 24 hours they get to the center to look after this person, and this person can't get deported because he's not fit to fly. They said on the paperwork his heart is like 3 months baby, very weak. If he jump on the plane, he'll die.
Yeah. Look, it's terrible in being in limbo like that, isn't it, Ali? Now, look, Ali, I wanted to just share with you a special message from Sam Watson. Peter and I were interviewing Sam Watson, who's an Aboriginal elder from Queensland, a lovely man who we've interviewed for many years. And he wanted to send a message to you, because we mentioned that we were going to be interviewing you next, and all refugees, that if this country was under Aboriginal law, no one would be deported. Everybody would be together and would be sharing the dreaming and the culture.
That's what I mean. I said, if someone want to kick us out of the country, it should be the Aboriginal people who own this land, not people coming from somewhere else, same as us, and then making decisions in this country. It doesn't matter you're just born in here, make you Australian citizens straight away, and then you're making decisions who you kick and who you're keeping in here. Should be the Aboriginal people who make decisions like that, because they own this land. This is their house. So it's like I'm coming to see you, and then I don't get kicked out from your house. I get kicked out by your friend. It's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and in fact, you know, the system, the colonisation has definitely, you know, taken over this country. And in fact, this example is kind of parallel, and I thought I'd mention it, that when I was actually in high school, I actually come from a non-English speaking background, and my teacher used to mark me down from the rest of the kids, the rest of the young people, because my English was very poor, but it actually wasn't poor. I wrote just as well as anybody else. And my mother came into the school and she said, Who are you to mark my daughter down just because she's Italian? Because you know what? The Aboriginal people are the first people that came to this land.
Yes, of course.
And in the same way, you know, as Sam said, he said, send a message to Ali that under Aboriginal law, that you are entitled to stay here.
Yeah, of course. And as well, you can see how much people have been protesting all this week and how much pressure they're putting on the government, and they just ignoring it. They ignore it. They're not doing nothing about it. Yeah.
Because
so can you imagine these two little girls' case? What this two little girls' case compared to mine? I'm nothing. I'm in the middle of not even 10% chance against the government. But look at these two little girls, how much they have supported more than me 5 times, 6 times, and they still in detention, and he doesn't want to release it. As I said, I went to court already, and we asked, my lawyer Rohan, he asked the judge, he said, what's the point keeping him in detention center if you can't deport him? And the judge already agreed with us, and we win the federal court, and then we come back here. Now I call always what's going on with my case to immigration. Oh, it's a caseload issue. You just need to wait your paperwork in the minister office. Don't call again here. They hang up the phone in my face. Why you hang up the phone in my face? Like,
Ali, can other people in the community ring on your behalf or not? Or is it just, can other people in the community ring on your behalf to ask about your case, or can it just be the lawyer?
I think it's only lawyer.
We'll have to do some research.
I'm not sure about it, but yeah, it's just like, it's a caseload issue. Well, if it's a caseload issue, put some people to work more on it, so you release the pressure of detention centres. They fool. Now, Melbourne detention centres, I got a call 2 nights ago from people in a hotel. They've been detained in a hotel in Melbourne.
What?
62 people now detained in a hotel in the middle of nowhere in Melbourne because they don't have a place for them in Melbourne. Melbourne is full. Micah is full. So
seriously.
Now 62 people extra in Melbourne, somewhere in a hotel, and they've been talking to me. No one visits them. They're not allowed to go out. They're just in the room. They're just allowed to watch TV and sit down on frozen meals they give them. Frozen meals. They give it to them in a container, plastic container, put it in a microwave and eat it. Whatever is the frozen meat it is. And it's just horrible food. And they really not happy about it. They called me. They said, what's this life we came to? This is not even detention center. We just want to go to detention center now. They're not putting them because they're too full. So all over Australia network now, all detention centers is full. Everywhere is full, full all the detention centers. So if you have full detention centers, release the pressure. Take the people who win the cases. Why are you keeping them in here? Like my case, I win it, and I'm still here. This family with the 2 little girls, take them out, release the pressure, and be nice and show to Australian people this government actually got a heart and cares about people's opinions in the street, not actually just ignoring them and show them the other face of you.
Well,
show
let's
them
hope.
The good face.
Let's hope that something good happens. But you know, Ali, I'm not surprised that you went to hospital. Really, you know, on top of it, you're upset about the family, and then staring at 4 walls in there. I'm not surprised.
Too much pressure on everyone. There's been too much. Everything is wrong with, especially as you know, I got to go to court case on the 26th. Too much pressure on me from my case already been 4 years. I had enough.
The 26th of September?
Yeah, 26th September I go to court.
At the Magistrates Court. We don't want to talk too much about it.
Yeah.
But
it's in Broad Meadows, yeah.
But so do go and support Ali.
I gotta go to this court. I gotta go to fight my visa and see what's going on with my visa. Why they're not giving me visa? There's a lot of things going on with my cases and other people's cases. Like it's really hard.
It is hard, and you know
it's not good to be detained people like that, and they can't deport them. Like like me now, they can't deport me. There are some people, Iraqis or Afghanis or Syrian, and they can't deport these people. So what's the point of holding them in here?
And you're from Iraq, yes?
Yes, I work in Perth. I work and I pay taxes. I work panel beater in Malaga, smash repair in Perth. So I never been on Centrelink. We own our house, and my family got a house. So if I get released, I'm not going to cost them nothing. But now I'm in here, I'm costing them something.
It is a violation of human rights.
Yeah, I'm taking now technically money for nothing. By the way, human rights, they were here today as well. I talked to them. They came into the center to check everything and that. And they said, please, Ali, tell on your social media as well to people in MITA Detention Center. We're coming for a quick inspection for MITA Detention Center, Melbourne, on the 9th.
Good.
So on the 9th of September, which is exactly another 7 days.
That's Monday.
They're coming actually to...
Who is coming?
To Human Rights.
The Human Rights Watch?
Yeah, the United Nations.
Oh, United Nations are coming. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Ali, we're just... Go on. What were you going to say?
So they came in today and they checked the center and they see everything. I talked to them about a lot of things happening in Sydney and Melbourne. They talked to me separately from everyone because their boss, I know I've been texting and that. So they said he sent us specifically to you to talk to you and to see things you have already documented and on your phone and that. So they checked a lot of things with me.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
And everyone was watching everything and that. And they took me to the office and privately talking to them, only me and them.
That's right. Ali, I'm going to have to stop you there because we're going to have to finish the show now because it's nearly 5 o'clock. And the next people have to come in Beyond Zero, who are they're really into climate change and a lot of other great things that they're going to do. Sorry, Ali, but I hope you you can come back sometime. We can have more of a chat.
Thank you very much. Yeah, of course, I will come definitely.
Thank you, Ali.
Much. I appreciate it for the call. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye.
Take care.
Bye bye. And that was Ali, an Iraqi refugee who is detained in Adelaide. And it's goodbye from Marissa.
And Peter.
And goodbye, and stay tuned every Monday from 4 to 5 for the Doing Time show. And thanks a lot to all our guests. And we're going to be going out now with our theme song, Black Fella, White Fella, from the Rumpy Band. Bye. Stay safe.
Bye.